look, I'll be very brief. I mean, I'd just like to endorse your statement. I actually find it very offensive that we're told as parliamentarians that somehow the decisions we make, we take no consideration of futures and children's futures and what the next generation is going to look like.
To be fair, the government argued against.
Sorry, Senator Pocock, I have to call, and I am actually a mother of 3 children, so I have a very direct interest in the future of children because I have 3 of them. And I certainly don't catastrophise things with them at home and build up their mental health anxiety. I'll tell you what would build up their mental health anxiety is if they couldn't get on the internet or their iPads and iPods couldn't charge because it's rolling blackouts. I'll tell you, that'd cause anxiety. So I think perhaps, as Senator Pocock encouraged you to come today and give evidence, it may have been under false pretences in the sense that we are not here to discuss climate change. We're not to debate the merits, what it's going to look like. I'm very concerned for you, Mr Durant, that you're concerned what your midlife working career is going to be. Already I can tell you adulthood is not one crisis after another. Adulthood is continuing crises, one on top of each other, and it's not all just climate change. Wait till you have kids, family and all the rest of it. Adulthood, working life's a good time. But, you know, we're here. I'm a Liberal. I'm for smaller government. This is absolutely insane and offensive to me that we're going to legislate a thought process as we put policy in place. A lot of us parents, we all do consider the future. But what I would like to just say to you, and you might have a response to this, both the previous lot of evidence and this lot of evidence have referenced rural and regional communities. Now, I don't know how many of you are from rural and regional communities. I've lived through floods. I've lived through many, many natural disasters living in rural and remote areas. So do my children. And they're not catastrophised about it. But lots of people are in rural and regional communities very concerned about the fact that their farms are being cut in half, their communities are being completely decimated, jobs are being lost. As the race to renewables destroys arable farmland, it destroys Indigenous heritage sites, it destroys koala habitats, yet we're not allowed to inquire into that because renewables is at a pinnacle over and above the mental health and wellbeing of rural and regional communities. So I'd like, if any of you got a response, what is the work that you've actually done talking to rural and regional communities about their actual concerns happening to them now, not an ideological concern or a projection that they're worried about in 50 years? Anyone spoken to a rural and regional community, gone out, held a forum, information session, asked them how they feel about transmission lines powering through?
Can I speak?
Am I able to
yes,
comment on that at all?
Please.
I would just first like to say I understand your concerns, and I also just like to say I don't think there's any denial on a student or a young person's perspective that adult life is hard, but I don't think that mitigates any obligation to then try and lessen any future burden that could possibly happen in someone's life, given that, as you said, there is so many things that will make being an adult stressful. I would also just like to add
just don't make it more stressful now.
Yeah. I'd also just like to add I'm from rural Australia, and I've lived, studied and currently working in a rural community as well. And so just speaking from personal experience, seeing the healthcare burden that has then happened within those areas, I don't think there's any way of denying that rural and regional Australia is suffering from a healthcare crisis. We've got 58% of rural people saying they have no access to GPs and 80% saying they have no access to specialist care, and you've got asthma rates that are 2-3 times what it is within the metropolitan areas, and like statistics of avoidable deaths around about like 1.6 million over 10 years. So I think it is very evident that there is a crisis within rural and regional Australia, and I do also understand your concerns around that a lot of these particular wind and solar farms that are occurring in those areas are taking away valuable farmland, and that's where I'd also implore the government to explore different options and funding and research into avenues in which those two things can coincide. I know recently, sorry, let me just get the name, the Wellington solar farm that's being built, I know they're working currently on combining the agricultural land, the grazing land that they use for the solar panels to still be used while the solar panels are in action. And I think working together in situations like that is a great way to help preserve our rural communities that rely heavily on agriculture while still delivering the renewable energies that we need moving forward.
Wouldn't it be great if we could get a support for an inquiry into that?